As you're writing this HFY Sci-Fi story, remember to make it accessible by using simple, basic English and third-person style. The story should be engaging and approximately 800 words, focusing only on part 1 without any headings. Make sure you don't use any complex vocabulary or sentence structures. Remember to use proper citation if you include information from search results. Though this creative writing task will primarily come from your own imagination, rather than external sources. The silver ships of the Galactic Hegemony appeared in Earth skies on a quiet Tuesday morning. They came without warning, massive and silent, their hulls reflecting sunlight across the world. People looked up in wonder and fear as these giants hovered over major cities. In the command ship, Admiral Kang stood tall and proud. He had conquered 27 worlds for the hegemony. Earth would be the 28th. Another primitive planet, he said to his second officer. They still use fossil fuels and have only reached their own moon. Should we begin the standard conquest protocol, sir? Asked the officer. Yes. Send the message to their leaders. Give them 1 day to surrender. On Earth, the world's leaders gathered in emergency session at the United Nations. The alien message played on screens around the room. It had been translated into all major languages. People of Earth, said Admiral Kang in the recording, I represent the Galactic Hegemony, ruler of 3,000 star systems. Your planet is now claimed by the hegemony. You will surrender all resources and accept your place as a worker species. If you resist, we will destroy your military forces and take what we want anyway. You have 1 day to decide. The room fell silent after the message ended. Then everyone started talking at once. We cannot fight ships that can cross the stars, said one leader. But we cannot just surrender our world, said another. In a small room next to the main chamber, Captain Mina listened carefully to the alien message again. She worked in military intelligence and noticed something odd about the transmission. Play it one more time, she told her assistant. She closed her eyes and listened. There's a pattern in the background noise, she said after the third replay. It's not random. They're using an old-fashioned communication system underneath their main signal. Captain Mina worked through the night, analyzing the alien transmission. By morning, she had discovered something important. The hegemony ships used a simple communication system between their fleet. It was advanced technology, but the concept was basic. Like radio waves, but faster. If we can listen to their communications, we might find a weakness, she told the UN Security Council the next morning. The President of the United States looked at her with hope. How long will you need? Longer than 1 day, she admitted. The deadline was approaching. The world leaders had to make a decision. Some wanted to surrender to save lives. Others wanted to fight even if it seemed hopeless. We need to buy time, said Captain Mina. We should ask for a meeting with their leader. The message was sent to the hegemony ships. To everyone's surprise, Admiral Kang agreed to meet with Earth's representatives. Perhaps he was curious about this species that hadn't immediately surrendered. The meeting took place in a large field outside New York City. Admiral Kang arrived with 10 armed guards. He was tall with pale blue skin and eyes that seemed to see everything. Have you come to surrender? He asked the small group of human leaders. We have come to understand, said the UN Secretary General. Your civilization must be very advanced. We hope to learn from you. Admiral Kang smiled, showing sharp teeth. You will learn to serve. The hegemony needs workers for our mines and factories. Some of you will be useful. While the talks continued, Captain Mina and her team worked frantically. They had secretly placed devices near the meeting site to record all hegemony communications. There, she said, pointing to a pattern on her screen. Their ships communicate on regular intervals. And look at this. They use a system very similar to our old satellite networks. Can we block it? Asked her assistant. Better, said Captain Mina with a smile. We can listen, and maybe even talk to their ships ourselves. Back at the meeting, Admiral Kang was growing impatient. Your time is up. Will Earth surrender? The Secretary General took a deep breath. The people of Earth have made their decision. We will not surrender our home. Admiral Kang's face hardened. Then you have chosen destruction. He raised his hand to signal his ship. Nothing happened. He raised his hand again, looking confused. His communication device remained silent. Is there a problem? Asked the Secretary General. At that moment, Captain Mina's voice came through on all frequencies, including the hegemony's communication system. We have temporarily disrupted your fleet communications, Admiral Kang. We suggest you reconsider your position. The Admiral's face showed shock, then anger. Impossible. Your primitive technology cannot interfere with hegemony systems. And yet here we are, said Captain Mina through the speakers. Perhaps we are not as primitive as you thought. For the first time in his long career of conquest, Admiral Kang felt uncertainty. These humans had done something no other species had managed. They had understood and manipulated hegemony technology in less than a day. This changes nothing, he said, trying to sound confident. My ships will destroy your cities once communications are restored. Perhaps, said the Secretary General, or perhaps we should talk more about a different kind of relationship between Earth and the hegemony. Admiral Kang looked up at his silent ships. The humans had fought back in a way he never expected. The conquest of Earth would not be as simple as he had thought. The battle for Earth had just begun. 3 days after the meeting with Admiral Kang, the hegemony ships attacked. The temporary disruption of their communications had ended, and the Admiral was angry. His fleet launched energy beams that cut through Earth's military bases like fire through paper. Captain Mina watched from the underground command center as satellite images showed destruction across the globe. The room was filled with military leaders from different countries, all watching the same terrible scenes. They're targeting our missile sites, air bases, and naval ports, said General Huan.
Classic military strategy, take out the big weapons first.
But they don't understand Earth warfare, said Captain Mina. We've been fighting each other for thousands of years. We know how to fight when outmatched. The hegemony ground troops landed next. They came in silver transport ships that touched down in open areas outside major cities. The alien soldiers wore armor that Earth weapons couldn't damage and carried energy rifles. All conventional forces, fall back to position Alpha, ordered General Huan. Do not engage directly, use guerrilla tactics only. Around the world, Earth soldiers retreated into forests, mountains, and urban areas. Instead of facing the aliens in open battle, they set traps and ambushes. They couldn't kill many hegemony soldiers, but they could slow them down. In his command ship, Admiral Kang grew frustrated. These humans are not fighting properly, he complained to his officers. They run away instead of facing us honorably. Sir, they're attacking our supply lines, reported an officer. 3 transport ships were damaged by hidden explosives. They're using the terrain against us. Primitive tricks, said the Admiral. They cannot win against our technology. But day after day, the Earth forces continued their hit-and-run tactics. They would strike quickly, then disappear into subway tunnels or dense forests. The hegemony soldiers, used to fighting on open battlefields, found themselves constantly ambushed. Meanwhile, in a secret laboratory under the ruins of Seoul, Dr. Jin worked with a team of scientists. They had captured hegemony weapons and armor from injured or killed alien soldiers. The power source is here, said Dr. Jin, pointing to a small device in the alien rifle. It's a type of energy crystal, very advanced, but the principles are similar to our quantum physics theories. Can we use it? Asked Captain Mina, who had come to check on their progress. Not yet, but we understand how it works now, said Dr. Jin. And I've noticed something about their shield technology. He showed her a simulation on his computer. Their personal shields stop physical objects moving at high speed, bullets, missiles, but they let slow-moving objects pass through. So, we could stab them but not shoot them? Asked Captain Mina. Yes. But that's not the interesting part, said Dr. Jin with excitement. The shields have to process what's coming at them. They analyze the speed and size of objects. That processing takes energy and creates a specific energy pattern. Can we disrupt that pattern? Asked Captain Mina. Dr. Jin smiled. I think so. We need to overload their shields by forcing them to process too many things at once. While the scientists worked, the fighting continued. The hegemony took control of several major cities, but their progress was much slower than Admiral Kang had planned. His superiors in the Galactic hegemony were asking questions about the delay. "These humans are unexpectedly resourceful, Admiral," Kang reported. "They don't fight according to any recognized battle doctrine. They're unpredictable." In truth, humans were doing what they had always done, adapting. Farmers used their knowledge of the land to set traps. Computer experts hacked into hegemony systems using the knowledge Captain Mina had discovered. Children even played a role, acting as lookouts because the aliens didn't see them as threats. 1 month after the invasion began, Dr. Jin's team completed their first prototype weapon, a device that could overload hegemony shields. "It works like this," explained Dr. Jin to the military leaders. "It fires thousands of tiny particles at different speeds. The shield tries to process all of them at once and overloads. Then conventional weapons can get through." "How many can you make?" asked General Huan. "With the factories we still control, maybe 100 in the first week, then more as we refine the process." Captain Mina looked at the small device with hope. This could change everything. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity had a real weapon against the hegemony forces. The shield disruptors would be distributed to special forces around the world. Admiral Kang didn't know it yet, but his easy conquest was about to become much harder. Earth was fighting back in a way the hegemony had never experienced before. Not with superior technology or numbers, but with human ingenuity and determination. The real battle for Earth was just beginning. 2 months into the invasion, Admiral Kang called an emergency meeting with his command staff. The large meeting room on his ship was filled with officers whose faces showed concern. "Explain why we haven't taken full control of this planet yet," demanded Admiral Kang. "These humans have no space fleet, no energy weapons, and primitive defenses, yet we lose ground troops every day." "Sir, they don't fight like other species we've conquered," said Commander Tay, the ground forces leader. "They use the environment against us. They hide, they set traps, they strike quickly and disappear. And now they have these," added another officer, placing a damaged device on the table. "Our scientists call it a shield disruptor. It overloads our personal shields with thousands of tiny particles. After that, even their simple weapons can harm our soldiers." Admiral Kang picked up the device and examined it. "How did they develop this so quickly? It took us decades to perfect our shield technology." No one had an answer. The truth was that humans were doing what they had always done throughout history, adapting and improvising. In the underground command center, Captain Mina listened to the recording of the hegemony meeting. Her team had managed to place listening devices on several alien ships during stealth missions. "They're confused by our tactics," she told General Huan, "and they're afraid of Dr. Jin's shield disruptors." General Huan nodded. "Good. Fear is a weapon too. How many disruptors do we have?" "Now?" 500, replied Captain Mina. "Dr. Jin's team has set up production in 6 different locations. We're distributing them to special forces around the world. The special forces teams were making a difference. They could now approach hegemony soldiers, disrupt their shields, and defeat them with conventional weapons. For the first time, humans were winning small battles. But Captain Mina knew they needed more than just defensive victories. They needed to take the fight to the hegemony. "We need to capture one of their ships," she said to General Huan. "Not just listen to them, actually take control of hegemony technology." "Impossible," said General Huan. "Their ships are heavily guarded." "Not the small scout ships," argued Captain Mina. "They send them out with minimal crews to map territory. If we could get a small team on board..." After much debate, the plan was approved. Captain Mina would lead a team of 6 soldiers to capture a hegemony scout ship. They trained for 2 weeks, using everything they had learned about alien technology. Their opportunity came when a scout ship landed in a forest to collect biological samples. The hegemony was interested in Earth's plants and animals, seeing them as potential resources. Captain Mina's team moved silently through the trees. They wore special suits designed to mask their heat signatures from alien sensors. Each carried a shield disruptor, and conventional weapons. "Remember," whispered Captain Mina to her team, "our goal is to capture the ship intact. We need 3 minutes to use Dr. Jin's override code on their computer system." The team surrounded the small ship. There were only 4 hegemony crew members, 3 soldiers and 1 scientist. Captain Mina gave the signal, and her team activated their shield disruptors. The aliens were caught by surprise. Without their shields, they were vulnerable. The team quickly subdued them without killing any. "Start the override sequence," ordered Captain Mina as they entered the ship. One team member plugged Dr. Jin's device into the ship's control panel. It began running through possible access codes at incredible speed, based on patterns Dr. Jin had discovered in hegemony technology. 60 seconds, said the soldier monitoring the device. Outside, they heard the sound of approaching hegemony reinforcements. The alien crew must have sent a distress signal. 30 seconds. Captain Mina and 2 soldiers took positions at the ship's entrance, ready to defend against the approaching aliens. "Access granted," announced the soldier at the control panel. "We have control of ship systems." "Close the doors and start the engines," ordered Captain Mina. The ship's doors sealed shut just as the hegemony reinforcements reached the clearing. The engines hummed to life and the scout ship rose above the trees. "Do you know how to fly this thing?" asked one of the soldiers nervously. "Dr. Jin's team created a simplified interface," said Captain Mina, taking the pilot's seat. "It's like a very complicated video game." The ship wobbled as she learned the controls, but soon they were flying away from the forest, heading toward their secret base. In his command ship, Admiral Kang received the news with disbelief. "Humans have captured one of our ships? Impossible." But the tracking system confirmed it. The captured hegemony scout ship landed at a hidden base in the mountains. As Captain Mina stepped out, Dr. Jin and his team rushed forward, eager to explore the alien technology. "This is amazing," Dr. Jin said, running his hands over the ship's control panel. "We can learn so much from this." For 3 weeks, scientists worked day and night to understand the ship's systems. They discovered how the hegemony's advanced weapons worked, how their shields functioned, and most importantly, how their communication network operated. "We can do more than just listen to them now," Captain Mina told the world leaders during a secret meeting. "We can send false orders to their ground troops." General Huan nodded with approval. "And how is the new weapon coming along?" Dr. Jin stepped forward with a small device. "We call it the Pulse. Based on the ship's technology, it can disable all hegemony electronics within a half-mile radius. It won't harm their big ships, but it will shut down their ground vehicles and soldier equipment." "How many do we have?" asked the president. 50 so far, said Dr. Jin. "With more coming every day." General Huan spread a world map on the table. "It's time for a coordinated global counterattack. We've been fighting defensively for months. Now we take back our cities." The plan was bold. Using information from the captured ship, Earth forces would launch simultaneous attacks on hegemony positions around the world. They would use the Pulse devices to disable alien technology, then move in with conventional forces equipped with shield disruptors. Captain Mina would lead the most critical mission. Using the scout ship, she would fly directly to Admiral Kang's command vessel and plant a special version of the Pulse that could temporarily disable the flagship's weapons. On the morning of the attack, resistance fighters around the world prepared. In the ruins of cities and in hidden forest bases, soldiers checked their weapons and waited for the signal. In his command ship, Admiral Kang was reviewing reports when an alarm sounded. "What is that?" he demanded. "Sir, we're detecting attacks on our ground positions. Everywhere. All at once," reported an officer in a panicked voice. "Show me," ordered Kang. The display screen lit up with dozens of red alerts from around the planet. In New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, and countless other cities, human forces were attacking hegemony positions with surprising coordination. "How are they doing this?" asked Kang. "Their communications were primitive." "Sir, they're using our frequencies," said the communications officer. "And they're sending false orders to our troops." At that moment, another alarm blared. "A hegemony scout ship is approaching," said the security officer. But its identification code doesn't match any of our units. It's the ship they captured, realized Kang. Prepare defensive measures. But it was too late. The scout ship piloted by Captain Mina had already released the special pulse device near the flagship's main power coupling. Inside the command ship, systems began to fail. Weapons went offline. Shields flickered. Power levels dropping, reported an engineer. Main weapons offline, secondary systems failing. On Earth, the counteroffensive was working. The pulse devices disabled hegemony technology, allowing human forces to advance. Shield disruptors took care of any remaining alien soldiers. For the first time, humanity was winning. In Rio de Janeiro, resistance fighters reclaimed the downtown area. In Cairo, the alien garrison surrendered when their weapons stopped working. In Tokyo, human forces pushed the hegemony all the way back to the harbor. We're receiving surrender requests from hegemony ground commanders, reported General Huan to the world leaders. Their chain of command is broken. Meanwhile, Captain Mina's team had boarded the flagship using their scout ship's docking codes. They moved through the corridors, using shield disruptors on any aliens they encountered. The bridge should be 2 levels up, said Captain Mina, consulting the ship schematics they had studied. They reached the bridge doors, which were sealed shut due to the power fluctuations. Plant the charges, ordered Captain Mina. Her team placed small explosives around the door frame. When they detonated, the doors buckled and fell inward. Captain Mina led her team onto the bridge, weapons ready. There stood Admiral Kang, surrounded by his officers. "How is this possible?" asked Kang, his voice quiet with disbelief. "You are a primitive species." "That was your mistake," replied Captain Mina. "You thought technology alone makes a civilization advanced. But humans have been fighting and adapting for thousands of years. We learn quickly." Admiral Kang looked at the status displays showing hegemony forces retreating worldwide. "What do you want?" he asked finally. "First, you will order all your forces to stand down," said Captain Mina. "Then you will meet with Earth's leaders to discuss terms." For the first time in the galactic hegemony's long history of conquest, they were facing defeat. The humans had not only resisted, they had turned the hegemony's own technology against them. As Admiral Kang reluctantly gave the stand-down order, Captain Mina looked out the bridge viewports at the Earth below. The blue planet had been damaged, but not broken. And now, against all odds, humanity was taking it back. 1 year after the failed invasion, Earth looked very different. The scars of battle remained in many cities, but among the ruins, new buildings rose. These new structures combined human architecture with hegemony technology, stronger and more efficient than anything built before. In the United Nations headquarters, now rebuilt with a transparent dome that seemed to float above the building, leaders from around the world gathered for a special ceremony. Admiral Kang stood uncomfortably at the podium, flanked by Captain Mina and Dr. Jin. "As representative of the galactic hegemony," Admiral Kang said in a stiff voice, "I formally recognize Earth as a sovereign and independent world. The hegemony renounces all claims to this planet and its resources." The room erupted in applause. It was the final act in a peace treaty that had taken months to negotiate. After the successful counteroffensive, the remaining hegemony ships had been surrounded and forced to surrender. Admiral Kang, seeing no path to victory, had chosen diplomacy over destruction. "Furthermore," continued the Admiral, "the hegemony will provide technological assistance as compensation for damages caused during the conflict." Captain Mina watched him carefully. She knew this part had been the hardest for him to accept. The hegemony never shared technology with lesser species. But Earth had proven it was not lesser, just different. After the ceremony, Captain Mina found Admiral Kang looking out at the New York skyline from a balcony. "Your world rebuilds quickly," he said without turning around. "It's what we do," replied Captain Mina. "We adapt. We rebuild. In 10,000 years of hegemony expansion, no world has ever defeated our forces," said Kang. "My superiors are disturbed by this outcome." "And you?" asked Captain Mina. What do you think? Admiral Kang turned to face her. I think I underestimated your species, we all did. You don't fight like any civilization we've encountered. You don't surrender when logic says you should. You take our technology and improve it in ways we never considered. Is that why you agreed to the technology exchange program? Asked Captain Mina. Partly, admitted Kang, but also because I believe the hegemony can learn from Earth. Perhaps conquest is not the only path to advancement. The technology exchange program was already showing results. Dr. Jin and his team worked with hegemony scientists, combining their knowledge. Earth's industrial capabilities were enhanced by alien technology, while human creativity solved problems that had puzzled the hegemony for centuries. 6 months after the treaty signing, the first Earth ship capable of interstellar travel was ready for launch. Built in orbit using hegemony designs improved by human engineers, it represented humanity's first step into the wider galaxy. Captain Mina had been chosen to command this historic mission. The ship, named Unity, would visit neighboring star systems that had also suffered under hegemony rule. Their goal was to establish diplomatic relations and trade agreements separate from hegemony control. On the day of the launch, Dr. Jin joined Captain Mina in the ship's command center. Nervous? He asked. A little, admitted Captain Mina. We're about to meet other alien species. Real first contact, not an invasion this time. The ship is ready, said Dr. Jin proudly. We've improved the hegemony design. It's faster and more efficient now. A communication alert sounded. The main screen showed Admiral Kang, now serving as the hegemony's diplomatic liaison to Earth. Captain Mina, he said formally. The Hegemony Council wishes you a successful journey. Thank you, Admiral, she replied. Any advice for our meetings with other worlds? A hint of what might have been a smile crossed Kang's face. Be yourself. Your human unpredictability seems to work in your favor. As the Unity prepared to depart, people around the world watched on screens and holographic displays. Schools paused their lessons. Workers took breaks. Families gathered together. This was humanity's moment. Engine systems online, reported. The pilot. Navigation ready, added another crew member. Captain Mina took a deep breath and gave the order. Take us out. The Unity moved away from Earth, its new engines glowing with a soft blue light. As they passed the moon, Captain Mina looked back at Earth, the blue planet that had faced conquest and emerged stronger. The hegemony had come to conquer Earth, but instead they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity would now take its place, among the stars, not as servants or conquerors, but as equals. In his private quarters on Earth, Admiral Kang watched the Unity disappear into the darkness of space. He opened a secure channel to the Hegemony Council. The human ship has departed, he reported. As I predicted, they are heading toward the Centauri systems first. And your assessment of the situation? Asked a council member. Admiral Kang paused, choosing his words carefully. The galaxy is about to change. These humans don't think like us, they don't follow our rules, and that might be exactly what the galaxy needs. As the Unity engaged its faster-than-light drive, Captain Mina felt a surge of excitement and pride. The stars stretched into lines of light, and Earth's first starship leaped into the unknown, carrying with it humanity's greatest strength. The ability to face impossible odds and win, IP was now under human control, flying through Earth's atmosphere. This changes everything, said Admiral Kang quietly. For the first time in his long career, he felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. Humans didn't just adapt to hegemony technology, they were beginning to use it against its creators. The balance of power was slowly shifting, and Admiral Kang knew his superiors would not be pleased.